we had some unfortunate news. Just somebody that we worked with in the past is not really doing well um, from COVID. Definitely been praying for them, and want to send well wishes to their family as well, that they're able to fight, this whole situation. And it's been tough, man, hearing about that. And once I heard about it, I shared it with some friends in my personal life, and it's interesting because um, I shared with them that that was going on, and I was kind of shocked that it's happened because it's a young person, somebody who's in their 30s, right, and not really doing well, from what we believe to be COVID. And some of the people that I shared it with, they opened up about things that's going on in their life too. One friend was talking about how their aunt had just passed a month ago, not from COVID. It wasn't related to that, but their aunt passed, and then that they had a friend who has a coworker, and the coworker's parents had passed from COVID, and then their sister had just been diagnosed with COVID as well, and I think was in a very bad spot, and it's not looking good for her either. Um, and so, had I not shared that with them, I wouldn't have known that that's going on in their life. And then I shared it with another friend, and they let me know that someone that's in their immediate family was going through the same thing, and that they eventually passed as well. Some days later. And again, had I not shared that with them, I would have never known. And even for me, like, there's going things going on with family members that I'm related to and their health as well, right? I don't share that with a lot of people. Um, and I say all that to say that we're in some very trying times right now. Obviously, right? I think the three of us are very blessed that we haven't been affected from a financial standpoint this year, although millions of Americans and a lot of people all over the world have. But even with work right now, like we going through a whole lot of stuff because of COVID, and you know not being able to be at work and all kind of stuff, right? But we got to check on our people way more frequently than we do, man. Like because these are not normal times. Like
Yeah.
we already deal with difficulties as it is. I just think that this year is a added layer and level of pressure for a lot of us. And when you don't check up on your people, you don't really know what they may or may not be going through, what their struggles may be, right? Or somebody close to them, right? That may have them, um, going through a lot emotionally. Um, so just check up on your friends. If somebody crosses your mind, you know, whether something happened recently or, a thought from the past, a memory from the past, came into your mind, just say what's up to them, man, because that may be what they need to, help with the healing through the difficulties that we're all facing. And, it may be able to take their mind off of something for a little bit of time when, they're going through the stresses that we're all facing right now. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
Go
agree.
ahead, Jesse.
No, I agree, man. It's crazy when you told me that news, and it's just like, man. Although I wasn't really as close to her, I know her, but you still sympathize with that person because you know them, like you interacted with that person, you're around that person for multiple hours, right? It just sucks that that's happening. I got some news too that somebody that works with me too, uh, they're not doing well, and just they're leaving a son behind, and that's just heartfelt. Like, hey man, it's just tough going through that, right? I have a close one, a super close family member that uh, just is fighting it right now, like just finishing off. Luckily everything's fine, but it wasn't looking good, during those times. So it is tough. I think it's hard to deal with it because, yeah, maybe we are so accustomed to it, or we hear about it in the news, so but then it kind of hits home when it's someone that's close to us, but then we tend to bottle it up and we don't really share it with people. And sometimes when you express yourself about it, I'm sure your friends and yourself felt the same way, like it's a great relief to talk about it, or just to bring it up like, hey, you're not the only one. I'm thinking about all this stuff, and I'm at work, I'm thinking about all this stuff that's going on, and I'm like, dang. And I was talking to somebody, and he was like, yeah, man, my friend just passed away yesterday, COVID. I'm like, dang, and you're still here? Like you're at work? Like, he's like, yeah, I got to do what I got to do. I'm here. Um, but he just felt like, hey, this is people are not taking it serious, and he was just upset because he lost somebody close to him. And I'm like, dang, everybody has the worst. Everybody's going through something, and it's just like, if he didn't share, or I'm like, if he didn't share that with me, I wouldn't have really appreciate that moment. I'm like, hey man, I understand where you're coming from, and you could be able to relate. And I think sometimes people just need to vent. He talked to me, and he talked to me about 5 minutes of what's going on, how he felt, how upset he was, and I just let him talk, let him vent. Like, go ahead, man. I understand how you feel. Like, it sucks that we're working during a crazy pandemic. We have to keep everybody safe, and it's frustrating. And we have to bottle so much stuff up, and we have to like release it somehow.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. It's everything that you both of you guys are sharing, and obviously prayers to that individual that you guys are speaking about. I didn't
Sure.
know, I don't know her, but I've heard a lot about her, and doesn't matter if I knew her or not. Like, that's the part that I think that we're all missing, is that we are so out of touch with what's going on in the world, only in touch when it starts to affect us from the people that we know. And I think that that's a part of the problem. And so Royce to 5'9" said, check up on your strong friends. And I know I've said that to Jesse in the past. And I think that that's so true, that so important that we do that, because a lot of people that we deem to be those strong individuals are probably the ones that need it the most. Just in the last few days, like I've heard, just from just asking, like, hey, how are things going? I've heard two people that had family members that committed suicide, and they're both 22 years old. And I think to myself, like, I had chills in my body because of it, because I just don't I can't fathom that, like, how can you get to that point? And when could have somebody interjected and just sent a text message, or just said hello, or just asked a simple question like, what's going on, are you okay? And then maybe that could have been the reason why, suicide wouldn't be an option. So I've had family and friends that have dealt with COVID and been tested positive and all that good stuff, and it's it's a mind it's a mind like trip, because I feel like, yeah, your body goes through things, but I think that mentally you go through even a worse cycle, because you just get put into this weird place where you start to question a lot. And are you ask yourself, like, are you going to be okay? And I know that we are not a religious podcast, we're not, but I think in these times, people really need to find some type of a belief, whatever that is, whoever that is for them. um, people need to find somebody to believe in, that where they can find strength other than what the world offers. Just because I feel like that's something that's also missing. So um, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So I'm glad that you opened it up like that, Blevins, because I think that we definitely have a lot of fun on this podcast. But at the same time, we're human beings, and we all deal with things, whether they happen to us or the people that we love, family or friends. We're all going through things, and the best thing that we can do is just support each other, because it's the only way we're gonna get through it.
Reach out to a friend.